Selamat sore. Okay, thank you very much for joining us for today's GM's class. I have to say that I'm quite surprised to see that so many of you preparing for interview. I hope I'm not losing all of you next month. Good. Today, as you are all aware, we are going to talk about how to pass any interviews 100% without any exceptions. How interesting. 16 years ago, it was year 2003. Year 2003, December, I had a very big interview waiting for me. It was the most important interview in my life. Problem is, I was living in UK, in London, and my interviewer was in Korea. I didn't have money to buy flight ticket to visit Korea to see the interviewer. She is my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. So my interview was about my proposal to get married to my wife. In usual cases, like in Indonesia, you need to visit your future wife parents' house, and you have to greet them with a big gift and introduce yourself and try to look fantastic and say, please can you give us permission to get married? That is the usual situation. I was not able to do that because, like I said, I didn't have money to buy a flight ticket to Korea. So what I did was, I called. Hello, my name is Charles. I want to get married to your daughter. Can you imagine? At the time, we didn't have a video call because it was 16 years ago. So it was just over the phone. And you know the result? I made it successful and I married to her still now. So you can trust me on this, how to pass any interviews 100%. If I can get a permission over the phone to get married, I think I have some credibility for my interview skill. So let's talk about it in details. When you go to interview, how do you feel? How do you feel when you go to interview? Nervous? Yeah? Why are we nervous? That is something we need to ask ourselves. When we go to interview, why are we nervous? Why we are not calm? We are worried? Or worry about result, outcome? That's something we need to remember. We worry about result and outcome when we become nervous. Who is the decision maker in your interview, in usual cases? Who is the person who makes a decision on your interview? Usually? Interviewer, yes. We call them interviewer. Could be a GM, could be a HOD, could be a manager. Okay? So they will make HR manager, TNC manager. So they will make a decision for your interview. Correct? Let's see if it is correct. Once again, I usually start with why. We always need to ask why. Why we have to pass interviews. So today's topic is how to pass all the interviews without fail, 100%. Very good. So why? Why we have to learn how to pass interview without fail? Why is it important to pass all the interviews? Let me ask this. What is the three most important things in our life? Park, Dandy, what is three most important thing in your life?
The first one is family, and then the second one, career progress, and then of course the financial.
So Park Dandy said the three most important thing is money, money, money. Okay, so sorry. So he said three most important thing in his life is family, job, and money. Correct? Okay. Even Sylvia, what is the three most important thing in your life?
Actually, family, family,
Money, money, money.
family, job, and also money.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay. Next question. What is the most important decision you need to make in your life? Three most important decisions you need to make in your life. Evil lady.
The three most important decisions: my job, my career, and life partner, and one more is education. Education as well.
Education. Okay, good. Thank you. Ibrella, what is your three most important decision in your life?
Money.
Choose my partner in life. And the first, my career path. And the third one is where do I live?
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so I think we have a similar opinion on this question. My answer to this question is very similar. Three most important things in my life is family, my job, and health. Health is competing with the time. So time, health, sometimes time is better, sometimes health is going up. Okay, I think I'm getting older, so health is now winning over. Okay, so similar to you. Three most important decisions in my life. First one, I already made a decision who I want to live together, so my spouse. Okay, second most important decision in my life was where I want to live. I made a decision to live in Indonesia at the moment. Okay. Third most important decision I make is where I want to work. Okay. And your answer was very similar to my own. I'm glad we have a similar opinion on this. So, which means we all agree that where to work, with whom we work together, for whom we work is one of the most important decisions in our life. Agree? Okay. So, work, job, career is one of the most important things in our life. If that is the case, who should make this important decision in your life? Yes, me. I should make a decision. Correct? Yes. Because you just told me the three most important decisions we need to make is who I want to get married to. So I make a decision. I made a decision to spend my life with Mrs. Sujin Jun. I made a decision to live in Bogor, Indonesia. Same, I made a decision to work for Novotel and Ibis-Style Bogor. I made a decision. Why? Because this is so important decision. Which means once you make a decision to go to interview, that should be the final. Difficult to understand? Which means, let's say you have this lady. I'm a man. I want to get married to her. She's so gorgeous. She's so nice. She's so attractive and decent, and I want to spend my life with her. I go to her and I pop the question, could you please marry me? She said, no. If she said no, are you going to go to the lady next to her and ask them question? She said no, so can you marry me? And said no, next, can I marry you? Do you do that? No. Problem is, you do that with a job. Many of you do that. You go to the interview, you fail, you go to another interview. And you fail, you go to another interview. Even though it is one of the most important things in your life. You make a decision based on decision maker choose you or not. So if interviewer like you, you join the company, which means you didn't make a decision yourself. Interviewer made a decision. That is why we have to pass our interview 100%. Because if I want to join this company, I have to join. I make a decision. I want to work for Novotel and Ibis-Style. It's final decision. Nobody can stop me. Now we understand. Yes, we agree. It's one of the most important decisions, and we have to make sure my decision is final because it's my life. But the question is how we make sure we pass all the time. So we talked about 2 secrets of success, which we do not usually realize, which we do not usually think about. But it's very obvious. Success is a normal outcome for most of the life missions because they are not impossible. Possible means we can do it if we work hard. Second secret of the success is if we make it happen, there's always return. There's always compensation. There is always reward. But we don't think about it much. Why? Because there's always coming after we make it happen. They never pay us first. Life will pay you after you succeed. So we need to remember, success is a habit. Without remembering it, we keep making mistakes. We keep failing our missions, which were supposed to be successful. So, you told me earlier this session, the result of interview is up to the interviewer. Okay. Yes, you go into the interview room, and then you try to look nice, you try to look attractive, you try to look professional, competent, and finally, interviewer will make a decision. You pass, you fail. So we think the result of the interview is up to the interviewer. But this is very dangerous thinking. Why? Because once we think result is not up to me, we do not make effort. Human being will do our best when we think I can change the result. It is up to me. The result is on me. And then I feel motivated to do something about it. If I do something now, it will become A. If I don't do it, it will become B. In that case, I do it. But if we think the result of the interview is up to the interviewer, from that thinking, you do not care. And you do not make enough efforts. You do not prepare enough. So if you do not make enough efforts, if you do not make enough preparation, what's happening is, yes, you are giving the decision to the interviewer. If interviewer cannot find better person than you will get a job. But if interviewer has a lot of different candidates who are better than you will not succeed. So you are giving the decision to interviewer. This is habit of failure we are practicing on a daily basis. We have been doing it for the whole life until today. From tomorrow, we will not do it. The result of the interview is up to you. It is up to you. When you go to interview, you need to have a mindset saying, is this job good for me or not? Just think this way. let's say I'm interviewing one person. This candidate is, for example, let's say one of the GRO. So GRO candidate sitting in front of me. This person, how important is this person for me? I have total 200 staff members. I'm choosing just one of them. This interview has a little meaning in my life. I make the wrong decision in this interview and hire someone not really good. It is not really damaging my life a lot. But from this candidate point of view, if she or he make a wrong decision during this interview and then sign the contract for the wrong job, her life or his life is totally different. So interview is not very important for interviewer. Interview is very important for interviewee, which means result has to be up to the person who is dying to make a good decision. So let me share what I usually do. I brought some documents. I have 3 different documents. One is from Novotel Lombok interview. Another one is from Pullman coaching interview. And another one from Novice Bogor interview. So this is documents I prepared when I had an interview for the GM position of 3 different properties. Okay, let's see. This is the last one. Novotel and Ibis-style Bogor. So basically, I compile all the questions I think I will receive during the interview session. Okay? All the possible questions. I just imagine that if I'm the interviewer, what I'm going to ask to this candidate. Okay, so introduce yourself, why you are leaving Pullman Coaching, reasons for your application to this hotel, Novotel Ibis-style, why you want to join. So I can see my answer was very clear. I like this cluster role. I never did a cluster GM, so it's a fantastic opportunity for me to learn how to manage 2 hotels at the same time. And I also said, you have a renovation plan, which is a good opportunity for me to learn something more challenging. I want to experience, I want to be a part of renovation. And I also mentioned that I want to come back to Indonesia because I love Indonesian people. Yeah, it says that. And what's the main achievement with the previous hotel? What is the financial result of Novotel Lombok when I was GM there in 2015, 2016? What is my career objectives? What is the main motivation? What drives me? What makes me happy? So I said I make myself happy when I do team leading and when I achieve target. How do you lead your team? My answer is I lead my team with the principles. Okay? Working with principle is the best way to earn people's trust, respect. And second important thing to lead people is effective communication. Okay? Successful communication can only come from genuine interest and respect on people. What is your strength and weakness? So I put a lot of strengths. Apparently, I pretend to have a lot of strengths. Okay. Yeah, very, very long. 1 page, 2 page, 2 page strengths. And I have only 2 lines for weakness. So my weakness, first one is I do not have experience with Ibis-style brand, and I don't speak Bahasa Indonesia. So that was my answer, my weakness. Okay, what is the biggest achievement in your career? Okay, so I put some achievement. What was the most difficult situation you have encountered? And how you handle it? And what's the most important quality to be a successful GM? Yeah. I mean, you can see most of the questions are very relevant, and it's very easy to anticipate. It's very obvious. Everybody will ask this kind of question. It's not rocket science. So the problem is, in reality, people do not prepare like this. I have a lot of interviews because I am managing 2 hotels at the moment. Sometimes I have 2-3 interviews per day. a lot of interviews. And like I said, in normal circumstances, you need to pass. But in reality, 50% of the candidates usually fail. I say no. Even when we hire Park Ardian, I had to say no to 3 candidates. No, 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 and then Park Ardian. So why is it happening? Because when they come to my office, sitting in front of me for their interview, when I ask questions I just prepare, they have no clue. When I ask, what is your strengths? They get frozen. Strengths? I'm diligent. What is your achievement? What is the biggest achievement? They have no idea. They never thought about it. And they have to think, biggest achievement, I'm a strong leader. That's not achievement. And what's really funny is, when I ask, what do you know about Novotel Bogor? What do you know about EB-style Bogor? They have no clue. Not many candidates sitting in front of me knows, Novotel Bogor, you have 179 rooms, you have 4 different categories, you have 16 meeting rooms, you have 2 ballrooms, you have 2 restaurants, you have a pool bar as well. The Capriccio is an Italian restaurant. Pizza you sell around 80,000, and then a steak you sell around 450. So it's not really fine dining. I can see that it's a casual Italian restaurant. Nobody knows about this. You know the thing I just said, how many rooms, what's the room category, name of the restaurant, what's the cuisine we are selling in the restaurant. You need only 1 hour. You just go to website, you check 1 hour, and you can get it. So which means you are trying to work in this hotel and you are not investing 1 hour. That's unbelievable. Because we said work, job, where to work is one of the 3 most important decisions in our life. You said that, and then you never spend 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to prepare yourself for the interview. So it's up to you. You like me, choose me. So for me, let me put it this way. I don't know you, but I want to marry you. Just imagine there's a stranger coming to you. Let's assume that you are single. And then this person come to you. You don't know her or you don't know him. And this person said, I don't know you, but can we marry? I don't know you, but I want to pop the question, could you marry me? What's the difference? Of course, the answer is no. Unless you look like a Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie. Yeah, it's a different story if you look like that. Yes, of course, the answer is no. I don't know you, but can I work here? So I always ask, if someone cannot answer how many rooms we have, how many banquet rooms we have, I always ask, why do you want to work here? Why? You don't know me. You don't know this hotel. Why you want to work here? I'm talking about HOD level. I'm talking about senior manager level. HOD level people do not do any investigation about the hotel. They don't know. They never check my LinkedIn. They never check my Facebook. Let's say I am HOD and I apply for the certain hotel. First thing I'm gonna do is check if this GM is psycho or not. Right? I'm HOD. I'm gonna apply for this hotel. First thing I want to check is this GM is not crazy person. Somebody I can work together. Somebody I can trust. Somebody who can develop me. So I will spend a lot of time to check his postings, her postings. Yeah? And I ask her colleagues, is your GM psycho or not? Yeah, of course. That's what I do when I move to another hotel. Is owner okay? Is this hotel owned by someone who are good, who has a heart? How much time we spend to prepare our holiday? And very sure, when you go for your holiday, you spend 1 week to search for the best price. You contact a travel agent, you check booking.com, you check agoda.com, Traveloka, you check Garuda, maybe Garuda website is cheaper than Traveloka. Okay? You check all the different websites and you go to the TripAdvisor to see this hotel, what is the people's feedback. We spend 1 week. And then maybe you don't have a visa. So you go to immigration, you go to government building and they apply for the visa. You spend a lot of money and time to prepare your holiday. And when you go for interview, you make same efforts? I don't think so. So, my point is this, we need to do our preparation. When I say preparation, I'm not talking about only buying a new suit, which is important, yes, you need to look nice, you need to look professional, yes, new shoes, new hair, yes, important. But what I'm talking about is this. This is a document I just introduced, one of the documents. Introduce yourself, okay, reason for my application, financial result of the 2014-15, what is the market segment, and okay, financial result, okay, so what is my career objective, my main motivation, drive. First question is usually, can you introduce yourself, right? Many interviewers ask, okay, because interviewers do not really read CVs, especially final decision maker. They don't have time to read all the CVs. So when your interview is coming, you say, can you introduce yourself? Let's say 2-3 people out of 10 do like this. Yes, let me introduce myself. Good afternoon, Park Charles. My name is blah blah. I am 23 years old. I have 2 sons. I have 1 daughter. I live in Bogor. My hobby is playing tennis. Come on. I'm not gonna hire because you play tennis. Do you see my point? You are in front of me to impress me. Why you say your age? Why you say you have 2 children? Why you say you like tennis or ping pong or whatever it is? What's relevant? You have a very limited time allowed to impress this person. So you need to say something wow, which is compact and summarizing your career development. So for example, okay, I am a result-driven hotel manager with 17 years international experience, mainly with 5-star hotels. I started my career as a management trainee working for Hyatt Regency Hotel located in the United States. Then I moved to England to study hotel management. At the same time, I worked for Marriott as a waiter. After finishing my study, I managed to join one of the best hotels in England called the Ritz London. At the Ritz, I worked with a few different positions, starting as a night audit, assistant night manager, then night manager, reservation manager, acting revenue manager. After spending more than 10 years abroad, I made a decision to go back to Korea, and I joined Pullman Hotel in Seoul. I joined Pullman Seoul as a revenue manager. After 2 years, I got promoted to Director of Sales Marketing. After 4.5 years in Seoul, I received an offer to work in Indonesia, and I took the offer without any hesitation. I worked for Pullman Jakarta Central Park for nearly 2 years as an operation manager before moving to Novotel Lombok in February 2015. I just spent 1 minute to give everything I want to say. After first answer, you should increase your chance to be selected from 0 to already 25%. You already talked most important things. So your interviewer, after first question, he will be already, or she will be already, I have a right person in front of me. Already 25%. Unless you make a huge mistake later, you have a very good chance now. Rather than saying, I'm 22 years old with 2 kids. Next one, I want to give you as a tip. This is a tip, techniques. I usually do not give techniques, right? Because I don't believe in techniques. But as a tip, it's always better to use numbers. When people ask you about your achievement, please don't say, I'm a strong leader. I had a successful year. Anybody can say that. But if you mention number, it becomes so true. People will trust what you say. You need to use your numbers to have better credibility of what you say. Another question was, how do you lead your team? Okay. So I'm saying with principles, effective communication, what is your strength? So I have a lot of strength. Weak point, is something important as well. How many cases you meet someone who say, I don't have weakness? Yeah, it happens a lot. I ask, what is your weakness? And they say, I cannot think of anything. Yeah? That's a big mistake because you look so arrogant. That's first mistake. Second of all, if you do not know your weakness, how can you improve? Improvement can be only initiated when you know what to improve. So it's very important to understand what your weakness is. So here I say I have no experience in Malaysia. I'm an express train. I'm like an express train. I go straight. I go very, very fast. Other people cannot catch up. Sometimes I'm too pushy. Biggest achievement, once again, it's very important to use numbers. Instead of saying that I did a fantastic year, that's not good enough. You need to mention. Also, biggest achievement I made was with the Pullman in Seoul. At the time, I changed the room configuration and I managed to increase my ADR by 29.5%. Now it sounds fantastic, isn't it? Increased the ADR by 29.5%. And with the Novotel Lombok, I increased GOP by 40%. You need to give the number. I mean, if you are the owner and you have a GM candidate saying that I increased the GOP by 40%, don't you think you will get the job? TripAdvisor ranking from 38 increased to 26. What's the most important quality to be a successful general manager? Once again, I talk about communication. What do you know about us? Okay, so I did some research about owning company. So this owning company has a vision, mission, core values. I'm not talking about the hotel, it's an owning company. I memorize about owning company. And then, what do you know about the hotel? So I list down, okay, you have how many rooms, how many room type, what's the room number of each room category, how many F&B outlet, what's the name of the outlet, how many meeting rooms. And then we go, okay, there's a wow, we need to talk about it later. And then we move on to a biggest challenge. So what was the biggest challenge I encountered throughout my career life? So I give example. So when I joined Novotel Lombok, I had this kind of challenge and how I rectify the issue. Yeah, so what do you usually do in your normal day? How do you arrange your day, working day? What is the most important thing to you as a general manager? The management philosophy. So I talked about win-win. And then I memorized my current salary to give an impression that I don't lie. Any question? Okay. This is something as well. I ask at the end of the interview, do you have any questions? 95% people say no. 95% say no. I mean, you want to work for me. You want to work for this hotel. You should have thousands of questions. We just said this interview is not very important for the GM. It's important for the interviewee. So you should have hundreds of things you are curious. It's very strange. It's a shame that they never ask questions. So I usually ask, what is the biggest concern about this hotel now? What do you expect? What is your expectation from the new GM? What is your priority? What do you want from new GM? And I say, I will do it. Now, after this preparation, your chance to get this position is 50%. We start from 0. After first question, can you introduce? After introduce yourself, 20%. Now, after this, it becomes 50. Not enough. So, we need wow. Same as our customer service, right? Okay, we have a perfect check-in. We have a perfect room. Cleanliness fantastic. Okay, good breakfast doesn't guarantee 5-star. We need wow. Same. Interview need wow. Because we cannot take a risk. I have to make sure I get the position 100%. So 100% is only possible when we have wow. So this is wow I prepared for one of the hotels, previous hotels. What I did was I read all the comments in TripAdvisor for 1 year. All the comments. Total 256 comments from 1 year. And then I summarize what is the main issue. How many times guests complain about this area. It's very easy to make if you have access to Trust You. But I'm interviewee. I do not have access to Trust You, right? So I manually counted after reading one by one. It took me 1 week. I invested 1 week to prepare this. And of course, during the interview, I say it. By the way, I did this analysis. I spent 1 week to read all of your TripAdvisor comments from 1 year. And according to my analysis, you have a 3 problem. Okay? Because this 3 area is giving you 41% of total complaint, which is, first of all, breakfast. Second of all, staff attitude. Third of all, housekeeping. Okay? Breakfast, service, staff attitude, cleanliness issue. And these 3 is 41% of the total complaint. So I told the owner, if you give me the job, first 6 months, I will rectify these 3 areas so that we have a much better customer experience, much better customer satisfaction, which will eventually help us to improve our financial performance. Do you feel like you want to give me the job now? Yeah, I'm very sure. Your chance to get the position is now over 90%. Why not 100%? Because you need practice. In an unusual situation or tense situation, something important, human being becomes nervous. So if you do not practice, you cannot perform 100%. And you do not want to make that kind of mistake. So we need to do simulation. Simulation means now you saw the older question, right? It's around 20 pages, okay? So you have 20 pages, around 30 different questions, okay? You pretend you are asked of each question, and then you answer. Okay? Can you introduce yourself? And I say, I'm a result-driven hotel manager. Okay? I have 17 years international hotel experience. I started my career as a management trainee at Hyatt Regency in the United States. You see, I memorize everything. Why? Because whenever I have an interview, I do simulation 20 times. One simulation usually takes 1 hour because it's 20 pages. So I spend 20 hours to do simulation. I'm not trying to memorize it. You don't need to memorize. Why? Because all of this, you made it. So what you are trying to do is, instead of trying to memorize it, you just repeat. Repeat. When you memorize something, you look like a robot. But when you repeat, you become natural. And when you go into the interview room on the interview day, you will be able to show the most attractive, most confident, focused, professional version of you. And now your chance to get the position is 100%. Now, do you still believe the result of the interview is up to the interviewer? No. It's up to me, right? I make a decision. It's my life, and nobody will make a decision for me. I decide where to work, not you. Right answers. Okay. This is additional information I want to talk about. So when we prepare this interview questionnaire, so you list up what kind of questions you will be asked during the interview section. What is your strength? What is your weakness? Okay, what is your achievement? What is the challenging situation you dealt with? What is your leadership style? What is important as your position? Okay, when you make a question, you need to answer, right? You need to make answers. Those answers are very important to be true, genuine. There's no right answers. Please do not buy book called How to Answer Interview Questions. Please. Because those answers are not right answers. Those answers are coming from the writer's opinion. That's not principles. We have all different opinion because we have a different background and culture and our experience, right? So you need to write down your answers based on you, your own philosophy, your own life value, from what you believe about the life. When I was having an interview for the hotel and EB Styles Bogor, there was one comment from interviewer. I think some of you are aware. All the GMs for this Novotel Bogor was single. And the interview was telling me that we prefer single GMs because they can give 100% to the job. They don't need to worry about anything else, only work. Yeah, during the interview, interviewer told me. So what should I say? As you know, I have two crazy kids. What should I say? Should I say, oh, don't worry, family is not important. The most important in my life is work and I will sacrifice my family life for the work. Don't worry. Should I say that? No. You cannot manipulate yourself. What I said was like this. Yes, the single GMs have their own advantage and their strengths, but in my opinion, family GMs better. Hotelier job is not easy. We go through challenging days every day, and by the end of each day, we are exhausted. We are mentally exhausted and tired. And when we go home, I have a family who care about me, who will support me, who will warm me up, and then I have another energy and motivation to come back tomorrow morning with a smile. So, without family, you cannot really go on. As a family GM, I'm more focused, I'm more stable, more energetic, and positive. So trust me, you try family GM, you will never want single GM again. No, that's what I said. I didn't lie. That was always my philosophy about family and work life. And you can see it worked. I'm here. The last message about interview, same message. Best presentation of yourself. There's a one GM's class whose topic is presentation, right? We'll talk about presentation again in following months. If you want to present yourself well, please be yourself. When we pretend to be somebody else, people will see it. Human beings are so smart. We have an unbelievable sense, and we can see something's wrong. This guy looks strange. This guy looks uncomfortable. We will sense it if you manipulate. So, if you want to make a good presentation, if you want to look nice, you need to be yourself. When we talk about our own belief, when we talk about our own life value, our philosophy, what's important in my life, what I believe, you look very, very attractive. You look passionate because you are saying what you believe. People can see it, and you will look very handsome and beautiful. Something I usually say, many of you know that, I always say I'm lucky. I always say I'm usually lucky. There are many people in our lives who look very lucky all the time. There are many people who look always unlucky. It's very strange. For some people, they always make it happen. They have everything. They always make it successful. And we think, oh, how come? He's always lucky. And we feel jealous. Why? Why I cannot be lucky like him? Why I cannot be lucky like her? because they have habit of success. It's not luck. It's a habit. It was almost 1 hour training, but what we need to remember is very simple, right? We all admitted that interview is very important. Why? Because where to work, what is my job, is one of the most important decisions we make for ourselves. So, we cannot give the decision to someone else. We have to make a decision where to work. So, it's very obvious, we have to pass all the interviews 100%. So if we want to pass all the interviews 100%, we have to know how. So it's all about preparation. You need to anticipate all the questions you are likely to be asked, and then you put all the answers based on your own life value, based on your own way of thinking, your own philosophy, genuine answers, using a lot of numbers to have a better credibility. And then you need to prepare one wow factor. I forgot to mention, do you know Park Ardian? When he applied for the job, when we met for the interview, Park Ardian prepared one wow factor. He prepared like a 10-page presentation file on how to improve F&B promotion. You come to my office for interview, you have a presentation on how to promote the hotel in F&B. That's why he's here. So, Park Ardian has just proved that result of the interview is on us, not somebody else. My job at the time was only signing. It was his decision to join as my EAM. I didn't make a decision. Any questions?